All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Neighbors. Here. Young.
Here.
Dilling.
Here.
Beamsterboer.
Here.
Adamski.
Here.
Doyle.
Here.
Adrianson.
Here. Okay, first item on the agenda is a public hearing. So I'd like to entertain a motion to open up a public hearing on a fiscal years 2024-2025, May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2025 budget.
Second.
Roll call.
Neighbors. Yes. Young.
Yes.
Dilling.
Yes.
Beamsterboer.
Yes.
Adamski.
Yes.
Doyle.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Do we ask anyone to, should we do the presentation first?
I would do the presentation first. And then
Glenn's going to give a presentation about the budget.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the public hearing for the 24-25 budget, also known as fiscal year 25. For the past 16 years, the village has received a certificate of achievement. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to catch up. For excellence for the financial reporting from GFOA, Government Financial Officers Association. This award is established to assist the state and local governments to go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles to prepare comprehensive annual financial reports that evidence the spirit of transparency and full disclosure. Annual budget facts. The budget preparation allows village departments the opportunity to set goals, objectives, and the means for accomplishing them. It controls the direction of your financial future. It gives managers a plan of action to follow during the upcoming year. The budget preparation process begins within every department in September. Department heads and the village administrator work together to come up with preliminary numbers. The mayor and trustees review the provided input, and I'd like to thank the mayor and trustees for doing that. I really appreciate the input. That said, the budget needs to be adopted prior to April 30th every year with a public hearing prior to adoption. This is important to remember that the budget is not an acceptance of all projects listed. The budget may be amended by the village board at any time during the year. So while this is a plan, it's not set in stone. The operation and investment reports are submitted monthly to the village board for instant access to activities and balances so that the board can monitor them. Okay. Last year in review. First item is, there it goes, property tax reduction. Property tax rate was reduced from 0.9999 to 0.9851. Also, we received a $725,000 grant for Park Street drainage. We also completed Eastern Avenue north, going from Smith to Baker Road. We resurfaced the streets in Sunset Lakes. We also repaired Smith Road at Route 52, and that was a special, need of mine because I used to take my kids to junior high, and that was a bad road. I'm glad that we repaired that. We also purchased a new vehicle, police vehicle, and purchased our used vehicle for EMA. We also purchased 2 new trucks for Public Works and a Vector truck, and you'll have to ask John what that is. I don't know. Okay. Next one. Okay. The budget highlights for the upcoming year. Okay. Again, there's no new or no increase in the property tax rate. We kept it at 0.9851. So we're maintaining the previous year. We are going to start design and engineering on Eastern Avenue South this year. Also, we're going to be using that Trask Street drainage improvements to include the drainage problems that we typically have in Trask Street, and we're going to try to see if we can finally end that once and for all next upcoming years. And we're going to be also adding 2 new police officers to get us fully staffed. Let's see, other items are Cherry Hill Road repair. We're also going to be getting a new dog park that will be, hopefully we're going to get some grants for that. That's what we're pulling for. Let's see, we got the Public Works facility expansion for 3 new bays to cover those current new vehicles we just got for Public Works so they'll last longer. We're also doing a sewer peak flow optimization. The idea for this, and we've talked about in previous meetings, is to prolong the need for our sewer treatment plant. So if we can avoid that for a few years while our GO bonds get paid off, that's a good thing. And then finally, we have new sewer and water lines going in for the new fire station and Public Works site and EMA site. Again, that will be mostly funded by grants from the Will County Comeback ARPA program. Also, the capital highlights for this year. Again, Eastern Avenue South engineering design. We're also going to be working on Baker Road going east from Cedar to Sunset Lake Villas. We're also going to be purchasing 3 new police cars, one to replace one of the current cars, and 2 new ones for the 2 new officers we're getting. Another big project we have is the radium treatment facility at Well 7. This will allow us to use additional wells to supply our water tower, so we can shut down certain. Oh, sorry, thanks guys. And then let's see. So a nice thing about that is approximately 50% of it is funded by grants from the ARPA, which the village received, as well as congressionally directed spending from U.S. Representative Bobby Rush's office. And the remainder we're looking to fund from a low-interest loan from IEPA. We also are going to have 2 water mains replaced and repaired, I guess I should say, along Front Street and Manhattan Road. And again, these are funded by grants from Will County ARPA. And please note that any remaining funds that we have from any of these projects that are not used will be placed in the capital fund for future projects. Okay, there you go. Now let's look at Manhattan's estimated assessed value. It continues to grow because of new growth and an increased value in the existing property. That's all I have to say. Okay, now we'll go to the. Okay, and then this is a favorite slide every year. I know you guys love it. So it's the division of your tax property and where it goes to taxing districts. And this is the taxes that were paid last year. So it's from tax year 2022, and then you pay it in 23. But 66 cents on the dollar, the lion's share goes to school districts. And then the village gets 10%. That's typical. So your typical tax bill on a $300,000 home, you're going to pay approximately $10,272, and only $985 of that goes to the village, so less than $1,000. So let's see, the Manhattan. Let's look at the Manhattan's EAV and property tax. This is why I think a lot of people have issues with Illinois or Manhattan's property tax. And it's because basically over 90% of our property tax is paid by residents. Less than 5% is picked up by commercial and industrial. Now, many villages have, I guess a 30-30-30 split, if you can get that, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That way the residents don't have to carry the full tax burden. That's the problem here, is the residents are carrying a full tax burden. So if we can expand into that and get additional businesses in here, it doesn't have to be distribution centers, it could be whatever, but just any businesses in here, they drain less tax resources or require less expenditures, but they provide more revenue. That will offset the expenses. Okay. The property tax versus the police pension contributions. Again, we are still funding our pension contributions and hope to be fully funded by 2042. That's what our auditors have us set for. And you can see it's 19.1% of our property taxes goes to fund the pension and try and get that back on track again. Expenses by department for operations. Public safety is by far the lion's share of where our expenses go for operations. We also have Public Works is another big portion, and then everything else comes up to 29%. Now, Public Works does have additional expenses that are not on here, but that's part of enterprise. That's a fee-based. It's not based on taxes. Okay. Expenses, where do our expenses go for operations? As you can see, the majority of our expenses go for salaries, benefits, professional development for the staff to provide those services. Then we also have professional services and contractual services. I want to differentiate between those two. Professional services are going to be for like our engineers, our attorneys, things of that nature where we have to pay professionals to assist us. Contractual are going to be generally large supply items. So if we're buying fuel for the fuel farm, stone, materials, that's where we're getting that from. And then maintenance operations of our buildings and other, equipment and vehicles, that's where we're spending information on that, our money on that. Our debt payments is looking pretty good. It's pretty stable for the past 4 years. You can see it's just over $1 million, and that will continue till 2032, I believe it is. And yes. And then we also, well, the IEP loan we currently have, that will finish in 2031. So, and that's for our current debt finances. Now, the last slide, or second last slide I got here, is the funding. We did receive a lot of grants in the past year, and this is, I think, took a lot of effort from the staff and everybody, the elected officials, everybody helped with this, and we got a lot of money for that. So we received $7,177,000 in grants, and we also have, we hope to get $3.423 million, $3,423,000 for a low interest loan for the Well 7. So Well 7 will be paid for approximately half by grants, and the other part will be low interest loans. Then we also have, again, the $725,000 DECO grant for Park Street drainage that was received from Illinois Senator Joyce. And then we have the Will County ARPA funds, which is paying for the Front Street water main and the Manhattan Road water main. Then the fire station also received a $500,000 grant for the fire station / public works site, and that will be used to pay for all these the projects out there on Eastern Avenue. Excuse me. Then we also have $300,000 received from Illinois Representative DeLuca, and this will be for the water main along 52, and that's important to for business development along this route here. So again, to help the tax burden on the village. And then finally, we have a $75,000 grant that the mayor was able to obtain to help with our village comp plan. So we have been looking at other resources to help fund it, help fund the projects that the village is going through, so we don't, we can relieve some of the tax burden to the residents. So again, the overall goal here is resident satisfaction with the quality of services that we're providing. We are utilizing the capital reserves to provide the capital improvements that the village is, utilizing. And then revenues are stable and diverse without increased tax rates. Again, that's what the grants will help do. Concludes my presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Glenn.
I gotta get some water.
Would anyone like to speak from the public? Any other questions, anyone? I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing on fiscal years 24, 25, May 1st, 2024, April 30th, 2025 for the budget.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Young,
Yes.
Dilling,
Yes.
Beamsterboer,
Yes.
Adamski.
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. There is no public comment, right?
Nope.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of the March 18th, 2024 Village Board meeting minutes, approval of April 2nd, 2024 bills list. So if anyone would like those separated from the consent agenda to discuss further, if not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Someone second?
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Dilling,
Yes.
Beamsterboer,
Yes.
Adamski,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors. Yes. Young.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Under new business, the first item on the agenda is the ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2024, 2025 budget in lieu passage of an ordinance, appropriation ordinance. So this is the final action of the fiscal year 2025 budget. Glenn has already gave his presentation. I know there's been many meetings about this the past few months with trustees and the finance department and Nick. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an ordinance adopting fiscal year 2024, 2025 budget in lieu of passage of an appropriation ordinance.
Motion. Second.
Okay, roll call?
Beamsterboer,
Yes.
Adamski,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors. Yes. Young,
Yes.
Dilling.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain property between the Village of Manhattan and the Manhattan Park District. This has to do with the Park District purchasing the property where the current fire department is. So there's some, that's when they discovered existing parcel lines that are overlapped and not recorded correctly. So this is an IGA, I'm sorry, the IGA that we originally did in 2023 that allowed them to close, kind of let these mistakes be known, that we're going to fix them out in the future. So that's what the attached documents now are, to straighten out the parcel lines of the park and the village. So I don't know if anyone had any questions on that.
Is there a map of the new lines?
Yes, you should have it.
All right. I didn't get a chance to, I got here late.
I have a question while you're looking for the map. Or go ahead, Nick.
I mean, I believe there is a map in there, but basically what it is, I can tell you, is the parking lot in front of the existing firehouse, that has been on our property technically, even though they've been using it for years. And the corner of Terry's garage over there, the EMA garage, was a little bit over on the firehouse's property. So when the firehouse was sold to the Park District, there was a third issue with the ball field and the firehouse, but that got fixed when the Park District took ownership. But all it basically is that corner of the building is being deeded to the village, so it's clean property line for us, and the parking lot that's in front of the existing firehouse is being deeded to them. So basically where that grassy area is between the big parking lot and the firehouse's parking lot, that's kind of like the demarcation between the two properties. So this is just making it all official and legit on the parcel lines, so that when, in the future, if we make any other land trades or sales, they have clean parcel lines, so. I don't know if that's what
So
you're gonna ask.
basically, that's the southern end. If you follow it, I think that
The
goes south.
southern,
Just-
kind of the
it
southern end
lines.
along near the railroad tracks. When you come out the front door of the existing fire department there, it's that parking, there's about maybe 20 spaces or so, give or take, I don't know, I didn't count them, but it's that, so historically, they've been parking there, it didn't bother anybody. Terry's building being on their property didn't bother anybody, but this is just, it came to light when they were making the sale that somebody found out that the parcel lines weren't exactly correct. And this happens probably more often than we realize, even on people's personal property. Someone plants a garden that goes over onto somebody else's parcel lines, and you don't realize it till you sell, but.
Okay, so speaking of that, if I can ask the attorney a question. Are there squatter rights in Illinois? In terms of,
Are we talking about somebody going into a
in co-
home that's unoccupied?
no, in terms of putting something on somebody else's property,
It's called, I think you're referring to adverse possession,
okay?
which is.
I'm not an attorney, so
No,
I'm
no,
just
that's
trying
fine. When
to.
you say squatter, I think of literally somebody going into somebody's residence, which has been a subject of some articles you may have seen recently in the news, and that deals with an individual going in and then trying to extricate them from a residential property. That's something different. I think what you're referring to is a concept of what's called adverse possession. And in context of adverse possession, yes, there are certain elements that are recognized under the law where if you openly, notoriously, and for a period of time use somebody else's property or take possession of somebody's property, then you can make a claim that that property has become yours. But it sometimes results in adversarial proceedings. for determination whether that's the case or not. So it's not something that necessarily shows up on title. You may hear adverse possession also referred to as times as prescriptive right-of-way. Sometimes you'll see that with roadways. So I don't know if that answers your question.
That does answer my question. So that goes to the second question, what has come to my attention, and that I call it the smoking shack for better lack of terms, that's behind Fritz's, is part of it's on the property that's basically owned by the village. I don't want any adverse conditions. I'd like to just clean that up too with our lines and maybe just lease them that 2 feet or whatever it is for $1 for 20 years, whatever it takes. But that way they can't come back and say, well, we own this now if we decide to do something else with that whole area.
Yep.
I'm not trying to hurt Fritz's, I'm just trying to clean up the property line.
You're referring to a property that I don't think I'm familiar with, and certainly happy to address that. I think just getting back to this particular ordinance, to kind of follow what Nick was saying, is I understand this came up when there was a property transaction between the fire district and the park district. Park district and fire district both realized that there were some parking spaces that were actually Manhattan. For purposes of intergovernmental cooperation, there was an agreement to help the situation out, in addition to the fact that there was some encroachment issues with the EMA building. An IGA was entered, I think it was in 22 or 23, I'm sorry, I'm losing years. In 23, where it said that the park district and village would cooperate, and the board passed that. We've reached the point now where the park district is asking for some formal documentation showing that property transfer. And what they've requested is a quitclaim deed as well as an agreement to transfer. So I did look at the ordinance. It does actually appear that we're missing a few exhibits, one of which is a visualization of the actual parking spaces along with the encroachment. I would tell you that the transfer documents, both the nature of the deed as well as the agreement, are the same that is going to be utilized for the park district and the village. So in other words, we're signing the same documents that the park district will be signing. The park district did pass an ordinance authorizing the taking the property from the village. They did not yet pass an ordinance authorizing the property from the park district to be transferred to the village. I'm told by their attorneys that's going to be done on April 11th. I see from my understanding, it's not an issue. It's just the way they did it was a little bit different than the way we did it. So this ordinance before you contemplates both transferring the property to the park district as well as accepting property from the park district, utilizing the same documentation for both transactions, albeit for different property rights. Is that clear? Okay.
Hey, Dave, back years ago, Jeff, I don't know if you remember that, I think we discussed that, and that there was some kind of agreement between the fire department and the village at that time. I don't know if we settled on it or not.
No,
We did.
I don't remember it
You
being
don't-
said.
yeah.
First I heard about it was when they brought it to us.
Yeah, it was a while back, quite a while
Yeah.
back, yeah. I just want, we ever agreed on it, or just, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I have no issue with
Okay.
the park or anything. I just
No.
want to at least bring it to the attention of the board, so to speak. And like I said, I'm not an attorney or an engineer, but we need to fix that position for the future, for both parties.
Sure.
So,
We can investigate that, trustee Beamster and see what we can find out, and we'll work with the attorney and figure it out. So what's the solution, so?
And indeed, just to, I mean, I believe, just for the, because you said south, what I just want to make sure for the public, since there's no map, it is, if I'm correct, it's the parking lot that's north of the current firehouse building, right? It's north.
Yeah.
You just said
south of our parking lot,
South of our parking. I just want to, just in case, there's no maps.
on an angle with the.
Yes,
trees.
yes, yes.
We talked about that, I think, the last meeting about your question about Fritz's when I mentioned to you.
Yeah, you had
Mark-
mentioned
Mark's
it
the
to
one
me.
that kind of knew about it, so I'm sure he'll be able to figure it out on the plat or whatever. So, anyone else?
I just don't want to see them get hurt or us get hurt. There's a lot of businesses moving around with them doing
Yeah.
roadhouse supposedly, and I don't know what's going on, but I just want to make sure it's
Yeah,
all
no,
cleared
it's
up.
available, it's good.
As far as I'm concerned, they can leave it there. I'm not only one board member, but it's our property.
All right, so I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain property between the Village of Manhattan and the Manhattan Park District.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Adamski.
Yes.
Doyle.
Yes.
Neighbors?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Dilling?
Yes.
Beamsterboer?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is IDOT resolution for improvement under Illinois Highway Code, motor fuel tax. The board previously approved documents on March 5th for $225,000 allocation of MFT funds for fiscal year 2025. Since that time, it has been determined that the village can allocate $574,000 out of the MFT fund instead of the $225,000. So this is a result of new funds this year and some funds from previous years. So these funds will go towards the maintenance work in Hanover Estates. And from what I understand, that's going to be determined, because there is some construction still in there, but whatever roads are more important and less truck traffic are going to be done. But we have them all listed just for the sake that you can do them if you had extra, right? So that's what that's for. So we have more money than we thought from MFT. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve IDOT resolution for improvement under Illinois Highway Code motor fuel tax MFT funds in the amount of $574,000.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Doyle?
Yes.
Neighbors?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Dilling?
Yes.
Beamsterboer?
Yes.
Adamski?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a resolution approving a bid for installation of some blacktop pavement at 195 South State Street. This is where the deck used to be for the old firehouse building, and that is part of the area that, you know, it sounds like the board wishes to shut down that road between Village Realty and the firehouse. So this is part of the whole process of making that area nicer and improving it. It's still part of our parking lot. The total cost is $9,500. It'll come from the fiscal year 2024 budget. It'll be completed immediately. We had 3 bids on it. Accurate Construction Services was a low bid. And I would also like to say, with this too, maybe we should consider shutting down Wabash. Even if we're not ready to permanently shut it down, we can use the cement barricades with, you know, paint them nice, just so that it starts training people that that road is going to be closed in the future. And then I already asked Nick last week to draft a letter to send to all the business owners on that block, just to make sure that everyone's aware of our intent to do that. So before we do it, we want to make sure we notify everyone. And we did already speak with the post office. We can move the mailbox 45 feet to the north on the same side of the street, so that you can have an ADA accessible path into that back parking lot. So, and I've spoken to most of the owners over there. Everyone seems okay, but I think it's official to send a letter and just notify them and give them a chance to, you know, maybe there's something we're overseeing and we don't want to just shut it down on them. So I think it makes sense to maybe shut it down with those cement barricades for a while until we figure out what we're actually going to put there. Just a thought, so. Any questions?
I think it's a good idea, the temporary closure.
I have a question for the engineer. When the deck came down, which was only last week, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but have you had a chance to look at the grounds underneath it?
I have not. No, John did actually, and we've spoke about the bids and what needed to be put in place as far as the pavement and the thicknesses. Is that your concern?
So I'm just want to make sure there's no surprises when they scrape it off to get it level and all of a sudden they find a basement or something in there. Like that happened at Bob Dilling's house, by the way. But that does happen in Manhattan, that there's no surprises and all of a sudden we're approving this pavement that gonna go nowhere basically.
Sure. So we haven't done any pavement cores or soil borings or anything over there, but the contractors that John's talked to have come out and looked at it, is my understanding, and they've given a good price on the thicknesses that they think is sufficient. I will say that I was a part of redoing that parking lot at the time though too, and it's something very similar that we did that at that time as well. So it seems sufficient. I can't promise no surprises, but
Better safe than sorry.
yeah, agreed.
Thank you.
Yep.
Motion. Second.
Anyone else? Roll call?
Neighbors?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Dilling?
Yes.
Beamsterboer?
Yes.
Adamski?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a resolution approving a bid for construction of a multi-use pathway at Well 7 Century East. So this happened because the bid for construction of the multi-purpose path at Well 7 site at Century East, the village worked with the Park District to address a few issues. We're putting a well treatment facility there, and part of their, it's really close to their property. We had to get some right-of-way for other property, but during construction, this will actually shut down the current bike path there. So in an effort to keep the path open during the possibly year or 18 months construction, this path will be utilized, and so people don't have to go through the mulch with strollers and things like that. And then in the future, the park is going to pay for a bike path to connect that after it's constructed. So it'll all flow together eventually. This is our part. They're going to pay for the other part to connect in the future. So total cost of this project is $13,948, and it'll come from the fiscal year 2024 budget, and will be completed right away. So that way that's open. We're not inconveniencing families that walk to the park. And in the end, the big picture, it's going to be really nice. So that's what that's about. Any questions? So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve a resolution approving bid for construction of multi-use path at Well 7 Century East Park by Sanchez Paving, an amount of $13,948.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Young,
Yes.
Dilling,
Yes.
Beamster Boer,
Yes.
Adamski,
A big yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors. Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So that's it for the regular meeting. I have a couple things to appoint for the planning and zoning appointment. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an authorization to reappoint Steve Kroll to the Village of Manhattan Planning and Zoning Commission for a new 4-year term ending May 1st, 2028.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Dilling,
Yep.
Beamster Boer,
Yes.
Adamski,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors. Yes. Young,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Another reappointment is Kyle Robbins. He's currently on the Planning Commission, so I'd like to entertain a motion to approve authorization to reappoint Kyle Robbins to the Village of Manhattan Planning and Zoning Commission for a new 4-year term ending May 1st, 2028.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Beamster Boer,
Yes.
Adamski,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors. Yes. Young,
Yes.
Dilling,
Yep.
Okay, motion carries. And then the last one is for the Police and Fire Commission. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an authorization to reappoint Robert Dykstra to a Village of Manhattan Police and Fire Commission for a new 3-year term ending May 1st, 2027.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Adamski,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Neighbors. Yes. Young,
Yes.
Dilling,
Yes.
Beamster Boer.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Now the comments, I hope everyone had a good Easter. I know the senior luncheon was a pretty good success. I wasn't able to attend, but from what I heard, the food was good, and that was provided by Kirby's Corner Bakery, and it was overfilled, wasn't it, Shelley? It was probably maximum capacity?
112 people attended.
That's a lot. And then one last reminder for this Saturday, the Manhattan BSA Scout Troops 155 and 255 have a pasta dinner fundraiser Saturday, April 6th from 3 to 7 at St. Joe's Church. So if you can make it, it's always good to support them. And I also requested a meeting with Mayor Darcy requesting our boundary agreement discussion. So I'll let everyone know as soon as I get something scheduled with Mayor Darcy. But I did speak with them, so hopeful to meet with them soon.
That's up in 2026, isn't it?
Yeah, November 2026. So it's right around the corner. Gotta get started on it now. Lucy? Thanks. Justin?
Just thanks for the everyone let me call in electronically last time. I really do appreciate it. Sometimes I travel for work and, you know, you guys don't have to let me in. I'm glad you guys do, so thank you.
Not a problem. Bob?
Next time, we're gonna have you on the big screen. You'll be in there. Mayor, you mentioned ADA.
Yes.
Where are we at working on ADA for our village?
As far as the whole village
No,
or the village hall?
building.
Building?
Where
is-
we're at.
For the automated front door?
Yep, and the store here.
Yeah, I know John's not here, but he was the one that was getting the bids collected, so,
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
yeah, thanks. Dave?
Just want to wish a belated happy Easter to everybody. Thank you, everyone that came here. I appreciate seeing people in the audience and showing that some of the stuff we do here means something to people out there. And I really do, I appreciate everybody coming, so thanks.
Ron?
Oh, I just wrote a couple things. Of course, the budget, and I think Glenn did a good job really breaking down the budget. I'm sure staff and, of course, the mayor and the board and all the department heads and all that, and Mark and everybody, everybody, but I thought it, in the end, we did a lot there. Question, I guess John's not here, but quick question, just so the public knows that people aren't questioning these things. Lights on Arabian. Do we have any update on the lights on Arabian?
I don't have a good update for you on lights on Arabian. I think we've been focusing on lights on 52 and
I get
lights
it.
everywhere else, so.
Yep.
I will,
I actually
Yeah,
have something.
please, go ahead.
I was talking to Becky today about that because I know that you've brought it up a couple of times. And she told me to let you know that the lights are on order and they were ordered in September, but there is a 23 to 25 week delivery of those parts. So we will not get those till probably close to September.
Okay.
That's what she told me
No,
today.
I mean, as long as we know information, just a quick follow-up for you, if you have the answer, is, okay, just to be clear, we're talking about the Arabian by Core Homes.
Yes,
Okay, just want to make
that's
sure.
what she told me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then and I guess this is more of a John question, but there's poles, I understand, I've talked to John, and there's poles that are so back-ordered. There's a light that's been out at, probably many, but I know, because that's my home, my HOA, but at Arabian and Clydesdale, we're waiting on a light pole, but we're waiting on a cement pole, and I understand that there is a delay on these poles, but, I mean, I'll speak with John, but we might as well order 5 of them to have them. Well, I mean, if it's taking 25 weeks to get them, I mean, we might as well. And so then that brings me to just a comment about our black poles. Do we have extras? One extra? I'm just wondering.
the village did not purchase any additional that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, I would add that, just not necessarily you, I get it, but it looks like Nick's taking a note, but John, I mean, the reality is, one of those are going down. I mean, it's just a reality, so right, well, you know. But we should have, if it's taking 25 weeks, we need to have these ones standing by in the yard or something, right?
Yeah,
I
valid
mean,
point.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna say one thing, I know I'm probably taking up a lot of time, people's time, whatever, but kind of upset. Safety. I have a photo of a truck driver right downtown, swerving all over the place on his phone. Chief, I know you guys are doing everything. This is not about you or the police department. All right, we need help. I mean, Will County, state, federal, whatever. I mean, we need some help. This guy, I will send this photo to everybody, but I will send it out. It's already bad enough, but it makes me really upset. On his phone, driving through our town. That's our town. It just makes me so mad. And the reason is, I'm trying to hold myself back. My wife and I got crushed on 53 in Manhattan Road. I suffered today. And a truck driver going through our town? It's ridiculous. It's not right. It's really, I guess, all I got. I'm so mad. Driving back and forth, this is a safety message, by the way. Driving back and forth to Florida on I-65, 14, 15 hours back and forth. It's a mess out there. People cutting everybody off, nobody's on their phones, they're watching videos. I mean, no offense, I get it. I understand, I've been there myself. But when you're driving 14 hours, your family's at stake, we get cut off numerous times by many people. Nobody's paying attention. So you know what? We gotta take it upon ourselves individually to make sure that we all are safe and our town is safe. It makes me so mad how many, I mean, it all started on I-65. It's unbelievable how many times I almost got killed in my family. And luckily that I pay attention. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It is hectic when you're driving on the highways these days with the way people drive and don't pay attention. Tom?
Just wish everybody had a nice Easter. I did. My daughter moved into town down in Shalmar. She did her very first Easter dinner. But I'm proud of her. But, and it beat me on the light poles. But that's it for me.
Thanks. Shelley?
Nothing today.
Nothing? Nick?
Just real briefly, I know we've talked a lot about the budget over the last several months. I just wanted to mention, I mean, it's been said, this is an approval of the budget today. We're going to bring the big projects back to the board for specific action. There are other things that weren't part of the presentation that we're going to bring back. So just that, I just wanted to make that clear. The other thing is, we all know that we prepare one budget, allocate 1 year at a time, but we're also looking multi-year. And the trustees and the mayor know that during this process, we're also thinking about the future projects in FY26 and beyond. One of those is Eastern Avenue South, so we were making some changes at the end to accommodate that and build up our capital reserves, because we have been doing a lot of good projects the last couple of years, and that's depleted those funds a little bit, but we've spent it on good projects like Eastern Avenue and all the others that we talked about. So I just wanted to make that clear. The other thing, I sent out an email to the trustees, and we're working with staff. We're doing a website refresh. We're going to try to improve it, make it more user-friendly. We put a survey in all of your, hard copy in your boxes. Trustees received it via email, but if you are interested and want to give us your comments, we want to know what you like, what you don't like. People in the public, I can give you a survey if you want to, but we want to make this user-friendly for everybody. Mark will probably talk about the comp plan. The other thing we're going to be hopefully rolling out soon is Shelley and I have talked to a vendor about improving our board agenda and how it's created and how we put it on the website. All this could kind of work together, but makes it more user-friendly for people who have their phones or an iPad in the meeting. The public wants to log in. There's a lot of other communities use this. It's really cost effective, but more to come on that. And in the spirit of transportation studies, I didn't want to load you up with any more stuff, but I did attend I mentioned last meeting about going to CED, Center for Economic Development had a transportation meeting. I'm going to send that out after tonight's meeting, just notes on that. But there's a lot of things happening in the area that impact our community as far as studies and future work. So more to come on that, but thank you.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
I just want to tell people, be careful. It is just, my wife and I were talking about it earlier, but April is Alcohol Awareness Month, just to let everybody know.
Thanks. Mark?
So we did receive the revised scope about the comp plan. We're going to be setting up individual meetings with the trustees. Hopefully we'll get it on the next board agenda. Did want to mention, you saw some activity probably in Stonegate Park. They're in the process of grading it to the park district specifications. The previous grading was not to their liking, to their approval. Some of the dirt's going to go over to Tramore. Some of the black dirt is going to be put in a pile on the side to be placed on it when they're done. So there's going to be some activity with that going forward.
Thank you. Gary?
Nothing this evening, sir.
Glenn, you said enough? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, I did. But I would like to thank the board, the trustees, the mayor, and all the department heads for help with the budget. There's a lot of moving parts in there. It's really hard to get, there's a lot of line items in the budget that I'm sure people aren't aware of, but there's a lot of stuff that went into that. So a lot of thought went into this process, and thank you all for helping.
Thank you. Chief?
No report, but Police Commissioner Dexter, he did call prior to the meeting. He wanted to apologize that he couldn't make it here tonight. But he wanted to thank the board for reappointing him, so I'll pass that along.
All right. Thank you. Terry?
I have nothing except happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, there's cake if anyone wants. I think it's over there somewhere. But my birthday's not until tomorrow, though, so. Yes, go
One
ahead.
question. Carrie, when we're talking about blocking off the road in back of Fritz's, next to the firehouse there, do we got to get approval from IDOT to do that, or any type of construction there?
Any work that we're going to do within the IDOT right-of-way, yes. So the curb work and the sidewalk work that we're planning on doing, we will need to get their approval, and we are already coordinating with them on that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to find out. So, as soon as you leave, start on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so no one else, I didn't miss anyone. So I'd like to entertain a motion to enter executive session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, appointed or elected officials, and collective bargaining, and the consideration to purchase or lease specific real estate.
Motion.
And also litigation. Pending litigation.
Motion.
Second.
All right. All right, roll call?
Neighbors?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Dilling?
Yes.
Beamsterboer?
Yes.
Adamski?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yeah.
Okay, motion carries. Session.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, sorry.
Beamsterboer?
Yes.
Adamski?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes?
Neighbors?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Dilling?
Yep.
Okay, motion carries. Under action, entertain a motion to approve an amendment to the lease agreement for 195 South State Street, Manhattan, Illinois, between the Village of Manhattan and Arrowhead Smokeworks LLC, amending specifically Section 5.01 and 7.06 with final legal approval, along with other amendments.
Motion.
All right, second.
All right. Roll call?
Adamski?
Yes.
Doyle? Yes. Neighbors?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Dilling?
Yep.
Beamsterboer?
No.
Okay, motion carries. Next item, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.